The night air in Raghavendra colony, Sangareddy, was usually calm. It was a place where families lived. Children played here. Their laughter often filled the dusty lanes. But on this particular night, something was terribly wrong. A sudden piercing noise ripped through the quiet. It was a sound of distress, a sound that did not belong. It startled the sleeping residents. Dogs began to bark, sensing the unease. The ordinary rhythm of life was abruptly broken. This was not a common occurrence in this neighborhood. People knew each other. They shared their joys and sorrows. A disturbance like this was rare. It immediately put everyone on edge. Windows creaked open. Curious, worried faces peered out into the darkness. What could it be? Was it an accident or something far more sinister? The air grew thick with unspoken questions. A sense of foreboding began to creep into their hearts. The peace of the night was gone, replaced by a chilling apprehension. The sound seemed to emanate from one particular house, the home of Chinya and Rajita. From the heart of that sudden disturbance, a man emerged. It was Chinya. His face was a mask of pure terror. His clothes were disheveled. He was shouting, his voice hoarse with panic. "Help me! Please, someone help me!" he cried. His desperate pleas echoed through the now alert colony. Neighbors, drawn by the commotion, began to gather. They saw the raw fear in his eyes. They heard the utter desperation in his voice. Something dreadful had clearly happened. Chinya was frantic. He gestured wildly towards his home. He spoke of his children. He said they were not waking up. He said his wife Rajita was also unwell. His words tumbled out, a jumble of fear and confusion. He had tried to wake them. He had shaken them gently. Then, not so gently. But there was no response. Only an unnatural stillness. A stillness that chilled him to the bone. He did not understand what was happening. He only knew he needed help. Urgent help. Some brave neighbors rushed towards Chinya's house. Others tried to comfort the distraught father. The scene was chaotic. Fear mingled with a grim determination to assist. Inside the small dwelling, a horrifying sight awaited them. 3 little children lay motionless. Amidst the unfolding horror, attention turned to Rajita, the children's mother. She too was found in a distressed state. She was conscious, but barely. She appeared extremely ill. She complained of severe stomach pain. She was weak and disoriented. Her condition seemed to mirror what one might expect from poisoning. This observation quickly led to a preliminary theory. Perhaps the family had consumed contaminated food. It was a plausible explanation, a tragic accident. The immediate priority was to get medical help. The neighbors, though shaken, acted swiftly. Arrangements were made to rush Rajita to the local government hospital. The bodies of the 3 children were also transported. There was still a sliver of hope, however faint, for the mother. For the children, it was too late. The focus shifted to saving Rajita, and to understanding what could have caused such a devastating illness. Food poisoning seemed the most likely culprit. A common danger, yet rarely so fatal to an entire family. At the hospital, doctors worked quickly to stabilize Rajita. She presented symptoms consistent with poisoning. She was given emergency treatment. She appeared to be a victim, just like her children, a mother grieving the loss of her babies while fighting for her own life. The local police were soon on the scene. Sangareddy Town Police Station took charge. The initial reports pointed towards food poisoning. This became the primary line of inquiry. Officers began their meticulous work. They cordoned off Chinya's house. It was now a crime scene, or at least the scene of a terrible tragedy. Every detail had to be examined, every possibility considered. The truth, they hoped, lay hidden somewhere within those walls. Investigators started by collecting samples. Food items from the kitchen were carefully bagged. Remnants of the family's last meal were sought. Water sources were checked. Anything that could have been contaminated was scrutinized. They spoke to Chinya. He was distraught, barely able to speak, but he tried to recount the events of the previous day. What did they eat? When did they eat? Did anyone else fall ill? His grief was palpable, his confusion understandable. A post-mortem's chilling revelation. The bodies of the 3 children, Sravani, Krishnanjanayulu, and Mohanjanayulu, were sent for post-mortem examination. This was, standard procedure. A necessary step to determine the exact cause of death. The results were awaited with anticipation. They would either confirm the food poisoning theory or, they could reveal something entirely different. The investigators understood the importance of this report. It held the key to unlocking the mystery. Then the report arrived. It landed like a bombshell. The findings were shocking. They were completely unexpected. The children had not died from food poisoning. There were no traces of lethal toxins in their stomachs that would explain their deaths in that manner. Instead, the forensic pathologists found clear signs of asphyxiation, marks on their delicate necks, evidence of pressure. The children had been strangled, murdered. This changed everything, absolutely everything. The revelation sent shockwaves through the investigating team, and soon through the entire community. With the post-mortem confirming murder, the police began to dig deeper. They looked into the family's background. They scrutinized Rajita's life more closely, and soon a hidden secret began to emerge. Rajita, the grieving mother, was allegedly involved in an extramarital affair. Her lover was a man named Shiva Kumar. He was a resident of the same colony. This was a significant development. A possible motive began to take shape, a very dark motive. The affair was apparently not a fleeting romance. It had been going on for some time. Rajita and Shiva Kumar desired a life together, a life free from their existing commitments. For Shiva Kumar, this perhaps meant leaving his own family. For Rajita, it meant leaving Chennai. But what about the children? Her 3 young children. Were they perceived as obstacles? Obstacles to her new, desired life with Shiva Kumar? The thought was chilling, almost too monstrous to consider. Investigators pieced together information. They learned that Rajita felt burdened by her children. She saw them as a barrier to her happiness with her lover. The police brought Rajita in for questioning. Her children were dead, murdered. She was the only adult present in the house with them. The suspicion against her was mounting. The initial image of a grieving, sick mother was fading fast, replaced by a far more sinister possibility. The interrogation began. It was conducted by experienced officers. They knew how to apply pressure. They knew how to observe. They were looking for cracks in her story. At first, Rajita reportedly stuck to her original account. She spoke of illness. She feigned ignorance about the cause of her children's deaths. She tried to maintain the facade of a victim, but the evidence was piling up. The post-mortem results were irrefutable. The knowledge of her affair with Shiva Kumar was now in the open. The investigators confronted her with the facts, with the inconsistencies in her statements. Slowly, meticulously, they dismantled her defense. Then, under sustained questioning, Rajita's composure finally broke. The mask crumbled. She confessed. She admitted to killing her 3 children. She recounted the horrific events of that fateful night. She had strangled them. For Chennai, the revelations were a catastrophic blow. He had lost his 3 beloved children. Now, he learned that their killer was his own wife, the woman he had trusted, the mother of his children. The betrayal was absolute. It was unimaginable. His grief was compounded by a sense of disbelief and horror. The foundation of his life had been ripped apart. His family was not just broken, it was annihilated by an act of profound treachery from within. The news of Rajita's confession spread like wildfire through Raghavendra colony and beyond. The community was aghast. They had pitied Rajita. They had prayed for her. Now they felt a mixture of anger, disgust, and profound sadness. How could a mother do this? The question hung heavy in the air. The sense of shock was palpable. Neighbors who had offered comfort now recoiled in horror. The children they had seen playing, laughing, were victims of the ultimate betrayal. The emotional toll of this crime was immense. The Sangareddy case resonated far beyond the confines of the small colony. It became a topic of horrified discussion across the region, and indeed, wherever the news reached. Such cases, though thankfully rare, force society to confront uncomfortable truths. They compel us to look into the darkest corners of human behavior. They challenge our most deeply held beliefs about family, about love, and about the sanctity of the maternal bond. This was one such moment of grim reflection. The crime committed by Rajita was a profound violation of natural order. A mother is seen as the ultimate protector, the source of unconditional love. When that bond is so violently broken, it sends ripples of unease through the collective consciousness. It raises disturbing questions. What pressures, what desires, what twisted logic could lead a person to such an abyss? Are there warning signs that society misses, or is such evil an inherent, albeit rare, facet of the human condition? This tragedy also highlights the devastating consequences of unchecked desires, and the moral compromises people are sometimes willing to make. The pursuit of personal happiness, when it becomes utterly selfish and destructive, can lead to horrific outcomes. The case serves as a stark reminder of the importance of ethical values, of responsibility,